when Faulkner does multiple first person and As I Lay Dying, it's like this huge radical, avant-garde sort of move on his part.
Yeah.
And now here we are at this point where it's it's a fairly mainstream tactic at this point that readers have learned how to incorporate this even within the context of like a mainstream commercial
Right.
novel.
Right. Well, I guess I have Faulkner to thank for that then. It's funny. I still remember there was a woman who stood up at one of my readings and she said, I am a beginning writer and I have written a novel in multiple first-person narratives and all of these editors and agents keep telling me that they can't sell this book because it's too confusing. So I want to know, why can you do it? And I went, I'm sorry. What am I supposed to say? And I said, well, yeah, I think it depends on the story. And sometimes if maybe people don't know the story you're trying to tell, or they don't know who you are. Yeah, I mean, who knew what they were saying? But, I don't think it happens very often. Chris Bojalian, who is a great author and a good friend of mine, I once did an event with him, and someone asked him why he doesn't do more multiple first-person narratives like I do, and he said, because she's crazy. They're too hard. And, keeping each voice separate is really difficult because you don't want them to all sound the same. I love Amy Tan, but I remember reading the Joy Luck Club, and I remember constantly going back and forth to see who was speaking because the narrators all began to blend together in my mind. And if I'm doing my job right, my narrators should all sound very different from each other.